Burning hot, sweating. The sooner I get through these, the happier I'm going to be. I'm glad I'm doing it because I want record of all this stuff that I have for when I go crazy or when I get Alzheimer's. Nerd, NERD, it's kind of I found out about this years after it came out. Somebody that was a fan of Wu-Tang that was a friend of mine said, hey, you got to check this out. I checked it out. It was great. It's seminal to me because it was so good that I didn't feel like I needed to explore it anymore. This was his first album, but he came out with more after that. And if I found it somewhere, I would pick it up and I would listen to it. But I'm waiting for that time for it to have that type of meaning to me. This does have meaning to me. It's really good, like electro type hip hop. It doesn't sound like any hip hop I've ever heard before, but it's electronic, kind of just got a lot better rhythm to it than most hip hop. Um, Pink Floyd, Animals. This is probably my favorite Pink Floyd album, maybe. I got two versions. I may have more. Who knows? I mean, I've had this album so many times, and if I see it at Goodwill, Habitat, or someplace like that, and it's $1, I'm going to pick it up. If it's less than $1, I'm definitely going to pick it up. You know, I think the thing is, maybe not every time I'd pick it up. Maybe if I saw it there now, I'd leave it for somebody else. But if I want to listen to this album and I don't have it on me, I'll pick it up, you know. I don't want to say too much about this because I could talk about it forever, and maybe I should just do a video about how much I like some of their albums. I want to do a best of Pink Floyd or Pink Floyd type video. They're one of my favorite bands. They're one of the first progressive bands I ever listened to. And, you know, they're special to me. Michael Jackson, Thriller, showed this on record, showed this on vinyl the other day. How much I can say about this, listen to it over and over again when it came out on my dad's record player, and when it came out on CD, I bought it on CD. I mean, it meant a lot to me for whatever it was. Nazareth, Hair of the Dog is the name of this one. It has a great cover. I think that's a Roger Dean, famous album cover artist. Nazareth was a hard rock band that came out in the 70s, early 70s, and then they had so many albums that it's almost impossible to keep up with. But this has got that. I think Hair of the Dog, that's the song that goes, now you're messing with a son of a bitch. It's that song. Basics of biblical Hebrew vocabulary. This is something that I worked on Hebrew for a while. I worked on Greek for a while. This, I can't remember exactly what's on this disc. I have all these charts. I could pull all this stuff back out and study it if I wanted to. I tried really hard to learn that, you know, and it meant a lot to me and never got around to it. Chris Brown, again, I had this album from earlier. If somebody wants this, they can have it. I should take it to work and give it to somebody. That's the second copy of that I got. Jimi Hendrix, Band of Gypsies. This is the one I listen to the most probably, and it's probably the one I like the most. I consider it, and I've said this before, but I consider it to be a studio album, even though it's a live album. It's the band after, it's called Band of Gypsies. That's the name of the band, Band of Gypsies. I showed this on vinyl. Love this album. It meant a lot to me at the time. You know, it's got Buddy Miles on it, which Buddy Miles is... He died recently, but he's just an incredible musician of roots music, had a ton of albums, and he was, rest in peace, Buddy Miles. But this is just an incredible album. I think it's better than his other stuff. I just, you know, I don't know how to describe it. The songs are really long. All his music is really full, but this has a very full sound to it for something being live and only being a three-piece and only having one guitar player. It's super good. Ace of Spade by Motorhead. I'm not the biggest Motorhead fan. Their music's too simplistic. Lemmy kind of grinds on me. He kind of sounds like... I don't know how to really describe him, but he's kind of pretentious. That isn't a good word for him, but he would... You know, I've seen plenty of interviews with him. I saw him on Headbangers Ball when I was a kid, and he was just talking about how he wanted to have... You know, people follow, you know, he just says weird things, you know, like, I've got your kids, you know, talking about how he was somehow messing up people's heads and getting them into sex, drugs, and rock and roll and all that. I like his bass playing, you know, because he makes it sound like a guitar, but I get it. Motorhead is very um, inspirational to a lot of heavy metal, but this is another gong. I think this is the only other one I have on CD. This one's called Shamil. It came out either before or after that other one, which was called Gazoos. And I said I wanted to show you a picture of Alan Holdsworth, and this has got to be the one that has Alan Holdsworth in it. And where's he at? Oh, darn, they don't have a picture of Alan Holdsworth in it. Maybe Alan Holdsworth is not on this album. I seem to remember him being on this album, but he must have came in right when the other album was. And let me find out who the guitar player on this. I'm spending too much time with it. This is a really good album. It's they have a few different guitar players. They had David Allen with another guitar. So they had two guitar players. One of them was David Allen. Can't remember the name of the other one. And then, the other one was there. And then Alan Holdsworth came around, which Alan Holdsworth is one of the greatest guitar players of all times, in my opinion. But the stuff with David Allen was better gong, but Alan Holdsworth as guitar player is better than David Allen. But the transitional guitar player there, I don't like nearly as much. He's way too bluesy. Can't remember his name. But David Allen and Alan Holdsworth is names that I want to remember. Art Blakey, I always called him Blakely. I've listened to all this stuff. I've had all this stuff at some point in time. When my old CD collection, I've had like 20 of his albums. This is one of the, middle of the road ones. It's maybe a little overrated, but I don't want to say overrated when it is as good as it really is. And the song Moanin' itself, the name of the album is Art Blakey and the Jazz Messengers, Moanin'. The song Moanin' itself is a very, very popular album. It's, Art Blakey has a very thick sound, and he's just an incredible musician / drummer, and he was popular. This was the golden age. His best album, I think, is probably Indestructible, but this is at least somewhere in the middle. Out of the 20 or 30 albums of his that I like, it's somewhere in the middle. It's got Lee Morgan on trumpet, which Lee Morgan is second to Miles Davis, is probably my favorite trumpet player. He blows a lot of air through it, and he's kind of quirky, and I love the way he sounds. Bobby Timmons on piano. Really good album. Really good musician. Jazz Messengers, love him to death. Could listen to him all day and all night if I had to. I love it that much. Indigo Swing, Red Light. Indigo Swing was a swing band, and they came out with 3 or 4 albums, but they only had, maybe like 30 songs, and they just mismatched all the songs onto different albums. And Ruby May was the song on this one that I had to have. And I think Bops at the Hop is the other one. All the other songs I had somewhere else, but I had to have Ruby May, and I had to have Bop at the Hop. Hip, hop, hippity hop, I love you, baby, from the bottom to the top. It's good music. It's good swing music. It was so popular in Tallahassee, where I'm from, this stuff. They just played it over and over again in the swing clubs, and it grew an affinity with me, even though it's kind of simplistic music. Their singer, I can't remember his name, but their singer is so unique and so good. But the music kind of cheesy, corny, but now I realize that, but at the time the music meant a lot to me. Andrew Glass, piano music, can't think of the name of the type of piano music that he plays. Chamber music, that's the name of it. Philip Glass is just so popular. He had that Einstein on the Beach record. It's really good stuff. You listen to it, you know what it is. It's good. It's not something that I go out searching for. I got to get all these Philip Glass stuff. But Philip Glass is just really good. Very popular musician. In that chamber music, he's probably one of the most popular. He probably has hundreds of albums too. Aerosmith Greatest Hits. When I found this, I had to pick it up because I had it when I was a kid. It's got all the good, all the popular songs on it. Last Child, Take Me Back to the South Tallahassee. Well, I'm from Tallahassee, and that song had meaning to me. It's got Kings and Queens on it. All these songs that I heard before I bought the albums, because eventually I'd buy the albums. But, Aerosmith, I've said it before once, and I'll say it again, guilty pleasure band. Ended up with a Ishmael Miranda, a little bit of Water Damage, too freaking bad. Just this CD's worth, if it didn't have the Water Damage, it'd be worth $100 right now. I mean, you can even see on the side where it got all busted up from the flood we had. But this is an incredible album. Remember, I think I bought this at Best Buy. I think they had it, and I was like, damn, they got an Ishmael Miranda at Best Buy. I'm going to pick it up. But, you know, don't want to spend too much time talking about it. ICC Component Unsown is the name of it. The song is great. The song after that, Nicholas, which right here it says, and I never knew this, but it's public domain. That song is incredible. Love that song. Oh man, it's got a tress in it, and it's a long song. It builds. It's really good. Album's good. Ishmael Miranda's great. Don't want to spend too much time talking to Latin. I could talk about that album forever. Thanks, you guys. Back to the record.